All right. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Dominic Cruz coming at you with another live episode of the NBA All Around Talk Show. I think today is the episode 5, and we got a lot of action going into round two today. And then and then we got a game 7 tonight between Utah Jazz and Los Angeles Clippers. I got Ryan and Ronnie on today's episode. Say what up, guys.
What's going on? What's going on?
What's up, people?
All right. So let's get straight to it real quick. Let's get straight to it. So last year we had the opportunity to see the Raptors versus the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals, and that ended in 6 games with the Cavaliers winning that series. But now we got another rematch in the second round today tomorrow between the Raptors and the Cavaliers. Guys, I want to start with Ryan first. With the Raptors and Cavs, are we going to see the same results, or do you think the Raptors are finally going to get it this time?
Pretty much the same results, man. I'm hoping it should be a decent series. Probably go 6, somewhere around that. I don't see a 7 games, but at least 6 or something like that. Because I still don't believe in the Cavs defense, but the Raptors, like watching them last series or whatever, man, they have too many times in the games where they just can't do anything, man. Kyle Lowry or DeMar DeRozan, go cold or whatever. So I just don't see them having enough firepower to get with Cleveland or whatever.
All right, and they don't have enough firepower, and with Cleveland's defense really lacking here, you still think that the Cavs are gonna are just gonna squeak by? You think it'll be like how they did with the Pacers?
No, I don't think it's gonna be no sweep like they did with the Pacers or whatever. But like I said, I don't really see Toronto. Like Toronto disappointed me last series or whatever. They pretty much should have been able to smash. Who was that they were playing? I forgot. It wasn't even, huh?
Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks or whatever, man. They let the young team or whatever, like, give them a lot to handle or whatever, man. Like, they for them to have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, they should have been able to, like, pretty much smash the Bucks or whatever. And, they were having too much trouble. So I don't really see them giving Cleveland too much trouble in this round.
All right, Ronnie, what's your take on this?
Cleveland, man, they got their work cut out for them. I'm giving Toronto for sure games 3 and 5. They could definitely gonna win those 2 games. Games 3 and 6. They not losing in Toronto. So if Cleveland loses games 1, 2, or 5, they might go down. The last thing they want to do is go 7 games with them, because I don't know if they're gonna show up. I don't think they'll show up against them. So I wouldn't be too surprised if the Raptors won it. I damn near would put money on them, depending on the odds. But Cleveland, they in trouble, man. You know what I'm saying? They escaped. They swept the Pacers, but it wasn't like the Pacers was in them games. You know what I'm saying? They was 1 point away from winning game 1.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that again against the Raptors. It ain't gonna happen. They're not gonna have Cavaliers on the ropes and let them off the ropes. If they get them on the ropes, this is a wrap.
So you think that you're saying that the Cavaliers are still going to squeak by, but they're going to have the work cut out for them, right?
I'm saying it's going to be too close. It's too close for me to call. If I had to pick, I'll go with the Raptors. If they can steal one of those games, like I said, if they steal games 1, 2, or 5.
Okay. So Ronnie is going to say you're taking the Cavaliers. I mean, not the Cavaliers, the Raptors, in a very close one, and it's up to the Raptors taking games 3 and 5. Do you see them stealing games 1 or 2?
Yes, they could definitely steal one of them games. I sat there and watched the Pacers damn near get those games away when they could have stolen them. It ain't like Cleveland was dominating them. They was right there, and with one superstar. And I don't know why people don't really respect Kyle Lowry as much as they should. We're talking about a guy that can he can pass, he can shoot, he can defend. I don't know what more you want from the guy. You
What?
know, he ain't got a whole lot of help. DeRozan stepped his game up this year, and they got Ibaka. So I mean, they got the pieces, and like I said, Cleveland, they've been that team that's just getting by.
Well, you know
You
what?
know,
I think people are not, respecting Kyle Lowry as much this year is because, they still remember Kyle Lowry from last year and how he performed in the playoffs. That's what basically everyone's seen as the Toronto Raptors. They seen him in the playoffs last year and the year before, and they always came out to be a disappointment they always came out to be a disappointment. But, against the Cavaliers, I think a lot of people are just disappointed with them, and they're expecting the same results this year. You guys know what I'm saying?
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, Lowry showed up. To me, he showed up last year. I remember he had a 35-point game last year. It wasn't just Biyombo having a record-breaking rebound game. It was Lowry, you know what I'm saying? And they go as far as he's going to take them. I don't see him coming up short again this year. He's a competitor, man.
And Ryan, do you see Kyle Lowry coming up, or you think he's going to be the same?
Yeah, man. I mean, he just him and DeRozan, man. He's just inconsistent, man. It's like they can't. It's rare in the playoffs they have like a game where both of them in the same game or whatever, man. Like, it's usually like one or the other, or like both of them is cold, man. So I don't know. They have to make a believe out of me this year, man. I didn't see it last series against the Bucks. Like it was one of those games where both of them like were off or whatever, and the Bucks smashed them or whatever. It just,
It was almost similar to the Celtics and Bulls series, where the Celtics lost two in a row, and then like the Bucks won two in a row, and then this like whole world like just went upside down to where they found themselves.
I'm looking at the stats right now, man. It's like game one against Milwaukee. What's his name? Kyle Lowry only had like 4 points and 6 assists or whatever, man. That's what I'm talking about. They can't have games like that where he only do something like that or whatever, man. So yeah,
Right,
I'm not a believer yet.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's hopefully, Kyle Lowry and DeRozan and the rest of the Toronto Raptors are going to show you that you should believe. Because I think I don't know what to expect in this series. I don't see the Cleveland Cavaliers dominating as much as they did last year. I mean, they didn't completely dominate the last series in all 4 games, but then again, they didn't completely dominate their series the first round series against the Detroit Pistons last year as well, because those games were close, and just like the Pacers, these games were close, but that defense last year wasn't struggling. This year's defense is struggling, so it'll be a really interesting series, and we're gonna see. But I want to transition to the Bucks. The Bucks, obviously, they lost in 6, and their fans were real cool when they say Bucks in 6. I thought that was a really cool moment. But having to be eliminated by the Toronto Raptors, what is the future looking like for the Milwaukee Bucks? Ron, I want to start with you.
It's grim. All they really have right now is Giannis, and the way that the league is, he's not going to play his entire career there. So I don't really see their future being super duper bright. If a guy like Jabari Parker could stay healthy, or if they just had one more hit, if Malcolm Brogdon could show up and actually be more consistent, if Chris Middleton could show up and be more consistent, if they had somebody else playing at a superstar level, it might keep Giannis there. But we're talking about Milwaukee. That's not really a destination. So I don't see them recruiting anybody. I don't see the longevity sustaining. So if I was them and I'm their franchise, I'll try to sell as many tickets as I can before Giannis skip town.
Yeah, what's your take on that, Ryan?
I think their future is about as bright as it's been for the last few years, man. I mean, as long as they got Giannis, man, they like a piece away from being like a contender. And let's not forget that pretty much in the East, the Cavs, whatever, is like the cream of the crop, but they're an older team. I mean, LeBron is in what is 14th season, so I mean, he don't have too many more seasons left or whatever. So, I mean, once LeBron retires, I mean, the East is pretty much up for grabs. So, I mean, really, all they need, man, is they were like one perimeter player away from being a pretty decent team, man. They just don't have enough perimeter shooters, man. Everybody like pretty much go to the rack, like Giannis or whatever. If you surround him, I think if they look at like the Cavs formula or the Houston Rockets formula and like surround him with shooters, I think they have a pretty good team, man. So I just right now, whatever, it's just basically they're not gonna be like a top tier team, but if they get like somebody in the draft, that's pretty nice. I can see them being pretty good in a couple of years.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I do agree that the the Milwaukee Bucks have a bright future, and if Giannis does stick around, then that team is going to be really dangerous. And yes, I do agree that once LeBron does retire, he will pretty much the East is going to be up for grabs, and who knows what's going to happen really, because people might be missing LeBron, or we're going to. I mean, everybody's already fatigued from LeBron right now. So not everybody, but a lot of people are. But that's a whole nother topic we'll talk about in the next one with the Celtics.
Yeah.
With the Celtics and Bulls series. All right. Did you guys? Now I was a believer that I always said Celtics in 6 after the Celtics were down. Hence my hat too. After the Celtics were down 2-0 against the 8th seed Chicago Bulls. After that whole thing happened, Boston just pulled it out and went 4 straight, and Celtics in 6, like I said. But I wanted to get you guys' take. I want to start off with Ronnie. Did this surprise you that it took 6 games? Should the Celtics have swept, or was this expected?
Nah, I mean it was pretty much par for the course the way that the East has been this year. Nobody's really dominated. I mean, we had Cleveland finish 2nd in the conference, and Boston, even though they came away with that 1 seed, it's still the fact that they fought. It wasn't like they were dominating. So I don't really see any truly consistent team. Obviously, I think whoever makes it out the East is going to get beat in the finals in either 5 or 6 games. But with Boston, obviously, with Isaiah Thomas' sister passing away, and then just that team being inconsistent, period, I wasn't surprised that it wasn't a sweep. You know what I'm saying? But they once they lost those first 2 games at home, they got everything together and they anchored down and got it done. So that's going to be that. Other than the Raptors, that's the only other team I could see beating Cleveland in the East to get to the finals and get beat by somebody out in the West.
Interesting. All right, Ryan, what's your take on that? Did this surprise you that it took 6 games?
Yeah. If you ask me, like from the beginning of the series, I thought the Celtics or whatever, I thought they were going. I thought it would go 6 games, so I shouldn't say it was too much of a surprise. But like, I didn't expect them to lose the first 2 games of the series, like they did. So I mean, when they lost the first 2 games of the series, I thought Chicago, did what it took to win the series, but. Once Rondo went down, then that like swung things back in the Celtics' favor. The leprechaun came through for y'all again, man. So you know what I'm saying? So once I saw that, man, I knew they had a good chance to win it or whatever, especially when I saw them come right back Chicago. But yeah, so I shouldn't say no. It was a surprise that it went 6. So I expected that to be a pretty good series or whatever. I just thought they were gonna win, but I was really shocked when I saw them lose the first 2 games of the series.
You and me both. I was real shocked too. I was like, you know what? I still had that little ounce of belief where I said I believe, and it was like the New England Patriots when they were down 28-3. I was like, I still have to believe. I gotta believe. And then next thing you know, they won. So you know what? And what happened? Celtics won. But let's move on to the next topic over here and let's see how so with the transitioning from the Celtics and Bulls game, let's talk about today's game. And we got 2 teams that don't really like each other, which is the Washington Wizards and the Boston Celtics. Now, there's a lot of mixed up in the bag about who's going to win this series. But how is this series going to turn out? Are we going to see the fights? Are we going to see the drama? Who's going to pull out to the next round? Ryan, what's your take?
I expect this to be a real good series. They got a lot of bad blood between them. Like for today's standards, I mean, like back in the older days, this would be kind of soft rivalry. But for today's standards, they got a nice little rivalry. There's some bad blood. I expect it to be a tough series. I think you're gonna see some chippiness on both sides. Uh, I you know I really like the Wizards how they're playing right now, man. John Wall is playing like a superstar in the league right now, man. He looks unguardable. Everybody healthy. Bill is playing up to star status, whatever, man. So I think if they play their strengths, whatever, I really see them beating the Celtics, whatever. And I don't think like if they were playing anybody else, I would say like they would have a disadvantage being a younger team. But like Boston don't really have a lot of experience either. So I think I would give the Wizards the edge in this or whatever. I think they have the difference with talent. They got more talent on their team.
So you got what, Wizards in how many games?
I would say Wizards in 6.
All right, Ronnie, let's go with you. What's your take on this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, the way that it's gonna be set up, if Washington's gonna win it, they're gonna have to do what Chicago couldn't do, and that was finish them off early. I think if it goes past 5 games, Boston will take it. The only way Washington wins this is if they do exactly what Chicago did in the first 2 games. This one's tough to predict because I feel like somebody's going to end up getting suspended in this series. I don't know if it's going to be Jay Crowder. I don't know if it's going to be Bradley Beal doing something stupid. But I feel a suspension coming. So if I made a bold prediction on this series, it would be that somebody's going to get suspended, and they'll put them right there next to Draymond. I don't know if it's going to be the Jay Crowder Draymond memes. I don't know what we going to get, but it's going to be something. Somebody going to get swung on in this series.
You know what?
Yeah, as far as who pulls it out, yeah, I think if it goes 6 or 7, Boston will walk away with it.
You know what? I think that there will be a suspension, and I don't know who, or I don't even know what's going to happen. It's going to be extremely unpredictable what's going to happen in the series. I'm actually very excited because this game is actually starting in a half hour. So, and that's going to be, and I think Isaiah Thomas is going to pull it through along with Avery Bradley, his defense is just, it is just amazing to watch because he can he can lock down your best player and make him underperform. So, but it'll be interesting. You guys already know what I'm going to say. Celtics in 6 games. Last time I said Celtics in 6. Hey, I wanted to say Celtics in 5, but after that last series, I want to be safe with it and say Celtics in 6. And I'm going to say this, I believe. But I want to transition to, we're almost done here, but I want to transition to the Pacers and how Larry Bird stepping down as president of the Pacers, president of the basketball organization. What does this mean for Paul George? Does this mean that he's going to step out, go to another team, or is he going to stay for the long haul? Let's go with you, Ronnie.
One, I gotta say I got a lot of respect for Larry Bird stepping down. In front offices across the country, across sports, that are obviously understanding that they're on a team that's not getting it done. They need to realize, like, hey, maybe I need to step down. So I'm not a Bengals fan, but Mike Brown, he needs to step down. I don't know what took Jim Buss. Once Jeannie and Magic Johnson take over, they'll be all right. So more owners need to take ownership. More presidents need to take ownership and step down when they aren't getting it done. But as far as Paul George goes, Larry Bird stepping down actually gives Paul George and the Pacers a chance to stay together because we know that Paul George wasn't happy with the status quo in Indiana. So with Larry Bird stepping down, he's opening the door for some type of change. And depending on what that change is and how it's presented to Paul George, he might be willing to stay. he might still already have his mind made up and say that he's, you know what I'm saying, headed out to go play for the Clippers or the Lakers or the Spurs. You know, we'll see where he ends up going. But I don't think he's going to stay, but it's still Larry Bird. He did the right thing, and it's a step in the right direction for that organization.
All right, Ryan, what's your take on that? Paul George leaving?
You know, it's like I saw something the other day. I mean, if you watch Larry Bird's career as far as after his playing career, this like not really surprising. I mean, he won Coach of the Year with the Pacers. You know, then a year or two later, he ends up stepping away or whatever. Then he comes back in a couple years to, you know, be the president. Did that for a few years, stepped down, came back again. You know, so it's pretty much the guy's unpredictable or whatever, man. So as far as like with Paul George, I think this summer is crucial for whether or not the Pacers are going to be able to get him to stay or whatever. If they can bring in like some kind of top tier free agent, you know, to make him think like, hey, I might have a chance. I mean, because the East is weak, so I mean, he's really just one piece away or whatever. I mean, if he get one piece, he can be competing like, you know, with the Cavs or whoever. It's just right now it's like it's basically him by himself or whatever. So I think if they can get like a big name free agent, say like a Chris Paul. I mean, Chris Paul's out there. If they can get Chris Paul to come, you know, Gordon Hayward, maybe, you know, some kind of top tier free agent. I think Paul George or whatever might give them another shot, man. But if they kind of just stay status quo and nobody big come there, I think he's pretty much gone or whatever, and probably be going back home.
You know, I'm gonna say this because you know, I can be biased, but you know, if Paul George really wants to try to win a ring, you know, and I know he was a Laker fan growing up, but he's gonna have to, you know, put his feelings aside and really want to jump ship. If he really wants a chance to get at a ring, he wants to jump ship to this team, the Boston Celtics. There was a lot of speculation. There was a lot of trade. There was a lot of trade talks in February where people were saying that he might be getting traded, or Jimmy Butler would have been traded. I actually think Jimmy Butler would have been a great addition, but either one of those two would be a great addition to that team. But if Paul George is ever in this position, you know, he understands that Pacers are not ready to win yet, and they're not going to be ready to win next year or the year after that. So for me, I think that Paul George should go to a team that's going to help him win a ring. It ain't going to be the Washington Wizards.
Yep.
So, and I'm only saying that because the Celtics about to go against them. But,
I feel you.
But here's the thing. I do appreciate you guys coming on to today's show. It was a little quick show that we did today before the NBA playoffs today. Ryan and Ronnie, I really appreciate you guys coming on to the show. Thank you so much.
No problem, bro.
And, you know, of course, this is another live episode of the NBA All Around Talk Show. We're going to come back around, and then we're going to talk about the hottest topics in the NBA playoffs. But until then, stick around. Later, guys.
All right, y'all.